Hi everyone, Nicole here, the Groovy Writer, coming to you from the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. We camped here just outside of Asheville for the night, and it is just absolutely stunning. I don't want to leave, although I kind of do because we're going to get to see the rest of the state. And I'm super excited about that too. So, today I want to talk to you about something that has really been sort of coming home to me as we've been traveling across this beautiful country of ours. It really is spectacular to get out on the road, and I'm reminded of that daily lately. And it's this concept of when it's time to switch gears. We've been doing some gear switching in the truck, in the rig, and I'll kind of swivel around there, show you our camp, our spot, which was just insane. If you haven't seen my bear sighting video, go check it out. Oh, so beautiful and just endless green. But again, being on the road, doing some gear switching, it has really occurred to me to do a video about when it's time to switch gears as a writer. I've had to do this many times in my life, many times in my career as a writer and as a teacher and as a person in general, but really specifically as a writer. When it's time to switch gears, it's not always voluntary. It's not always something you're looking forward to doing or even thinking about doing. Sometimes a life event happens. You might have sort of a tragic life event, or you might have a really positive life event, like the birth of a new baby, for example, but still it can disrupt your normal way of doing things. I have experienced this. I see this all the time with the student writers I worked with. Some of these are out of the blue. Some of them are very planned. Like say you're trying to grow your family and you have a beautiful new baby. It's great, but as those of us with kids know, you're probably not going to be getting a lot of sleep. Your energy levels are going to change. The same thing happens at different times of life. When you get to, I'm a Gen Xer, so when you sort of start hitting that midlife point, all of a sudden you realize your resource management strategies for your life energy, your life resources kind of need to change. So if you've been used to being, say, a very prolific writer, someone who puts out a book every year, I cannot relate to that at all, by the way, but some of my friends have done that. They have put out books, once a year, and it's amazing and it's admirable, and I think it's really cool. I'm a slow writer. I do not do that. But let's say you're that person, and then you hit a certain patch of life, and all of a sudden, that's just not something that seems to be possible anymore. It can be really easy to get down on ourselves when that happens, right? I think it can be really easy to get discouraged and to think, well, that's it. It's all over. I'm not doing this anymore. And that's just not for older people or people of a certain age. That can happen as a young person too. Again, life changes that happen when you're in your first few decades of life that can really have an effect on you, and that doesn't stop. And I'm here to tell, especially those of you who are younger writers, let's say up into your early 40s, let's just call it that. Those changes don't stop, and the need to stay nimble as a writer, the need to be able to change gears when you hit a steep grade and need to downshift, maybe, right? Or maybe you're on the flat, or maybe you're on a downhill and you need to pump the brakes a little bit. That doesn't change. So I'm here to encourage you, whatever stage of life you're at. Think about if you've experienced this before, and I'd love to hear about that, by the way. If you want to leave a comment, any changes you have maybe had in your life that made you have to reevaluate the writing, and maybe even made you think about, maybe I should stop the writing completely, maybe I should just quit, maybe I'm not meant to do this anymore. And maybe that's true for a little bit. Maybe it's okay to pull back and to just say, you know what, I need to prioritize other things. I'm going to change my hands on the camera here. I don't have a selfie stick. I need to um, just not write for a while. That's valid and that's okay. But it's always there for you. One of my favorite things that Natalie Goldberg, who wrote Writing Down the Bones, said is, and I'm paraphrasing here, I don't know that I'm quoting this exactly, but she said something like, you might leave the writing for a time, or maybe for a lifetime, but it will never leave you. So if you find yourself having to switch gears, especially if it's involuntary and it's not in a way you particularly wanted to have to switch gears at this point in your life, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. The writing doesn't leave you. Just like traveling, you move through different states of mind, different states of awareness, if we want to get a little more out there with it. But it's true, we really do. And that doesn't stop. And you don't want it to stop. You don't want to sort of calcify and be in one place in your life, in your thinking, in your writing. This is our art, and art is forever, hopefully, changing and evolving. Maybe sometimes it feels like it's evolving in reverse. I know with some of the changes that have come personally for me at midlife, just physiological changes, sometimes I think, boy, I feel like my creativity is down at times. And then other times it's like, nope, there it is, it's right there. So even if these changes are out of your control and they're not something you wanted or looked forward to, but they're happening anyway, um, try to just take a deep breath and realize, it's okay to switch gears. You can trust yourself to get back to the writing when it's time for you to do that. When it's time for you to get through whatever you're going through, to get through this phase of life. And again, whether it's a difficult phase of life or it's a wonderful phase of life, but it still is taking a lot of your energy, a lot of your life force. You got this. The writing will be waiting for you. All right, I got to get on the road. I'll see you guys soon.